The following podcast contains adult themes, explicit content, and controversial ideas. Viewer discretion is advised. This is MindRaid with the Koch brothers.
We don't give a shit what one this is.
We don't even know where we are.
Just more of the same shit.
Okay, we're back, brother. We wanted to talk about Afghanistan, and you wanted to talk about Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Afghanistan,
It's a mess.
we've talked a lot. It's the thing. That's the thing that holds me back is I've already talked about Afghanistan. I've been talking about Afghanistan for a long time. Not very many people have outside of like veterans.
Yeah.
But before we get into Afghanistan now, I'd like to go back to where this whole thing kind of started. And where this whole thing started wasn't even really where it started.
Mm-hmm.
It's where the last 20 years worth of bullshit basically started.
Yeah.
And that was 9/11.
Well, and that's the crazy thing. The reason I wanted to talk about it was because 20 years.
Yeah.
20 fucking years.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
5 presidential terms.
Mm-hmm.
Wild. But yeah.
You can
9/11. You were saying 9/11.
9/11, you can trace, I mean, this is history. This is a result of 9/11. And everybody knows what happens on 9/11. But the thing that's crazy to me is the amount of people that are alive today that don't remember what life was like before 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
And it was awesome. The 90s and the 80s.
80s and 90s were
The pinnacle.
great. Yeah.
They were probably the pinnacle. We had the Cold War, but not like a lot of actual war. I mean, there was war in the world, and shit was horrible then.
Some standoffs and...
But in terms of like one of the best times to be alive, arguably the 80s and 90s. 9/11 happened. Remember Y2K?
Yep.
How the whole world was going to shut down and then nothing happened?
Nothing happened.
Hey, be afraid of this.
Yep.
9/11 was almost like, and I've told you this and I've talked about this on podcasts, but when I figured out what was actually happening and reasoning what was actually happening that day, I knew things were never going to be the same in this country. I knew the impact that this was going to have on our society, our culture, the fear that was going to be just spewing about this shit was going to be bad. And it was. And everybody's like, this is bringing us together. And it did not bring us together. That's bullshit.
No.
What it did is it took the left and the right that were at the time moderate.
Separated them completely.
Something about that event and how polarizing that event was sent these two different branches of conservatism and liberalism in these extremely different directions. Mm-hmm. And this seemed really clear to me once we figured out who the bad guy was, Osama in the Al-Qaeda gang, mm-hmm. Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. People that are so fucking stupid that they're like, my opinion is worth so much more than you that I can kill you. We clearly identify these enemies, and let's not go into the heap of crazy coincidences and connections that this man has to our royalty, mm-hmm. the Bush family.
Yeah.
Let's just leave all of that stuff on the side. We know who they are. We got to go after them. They're not our allies now like they used to be 20 years ago, just like Saddam Hussein. Now we have to go after them. And we got to get the bad guys, right? How long did it take us to get Osama?
Fuck, dude.
A decade.
Yeah.
10 years.
Yeah. Was it 2000?
I don't know, but it was
somewhere.
It was like a decade.
Yeah, something like that.
But here's the problem. It wasn't the entire committed might of the United States military going into Afghanistan and just running shop. We went to Iraq.
Yeah.
We went to a sovereign nation run by a dictator that we allowed to go back into power like 15 years earlier, Desert Storm. We let him go back into power. And then when 9/11 happened, Bush went, well, he attacked my paw. And then just kind of invaded Iraq.
Yeah.
And did it under the authority of the War on Terror.
Mm-hmm.
We think they have WMDs. Didn't have them.
Nope.
That was a lie. Everybody that questioned and said, show us proof. Well, we can't. A lot of that's classified. Bullshit.
Yeah. No.
Show us proof. You
No.
can't invade a country on intelligence you can't share.
Yeah.
That's not the way this works, Empire.
Yeah.
They did it anyway. Iraq, I don't know how many people died there, but a lot.
Yeah.
People that should have never died there. American troops.
American troops. Too?
Iraqi citizens.
Yep.
So then we get Osama. It seems really clear to me that if somebody based on religious extremism kills over 4,000 American citizens in the greatest act of terror in modern history, we kill that guy. We do with the gangsters of the 30s. We put a big picture in the front of the New York Post, and we go, we killed Osama bin Laden. He's dead as shit. Mm-hmm. Look. We took him out on a ship. This was God damn it. We took him out on a ship, and we buried him in respect for Islam. Nobody saw the body.
Yeah.
He just got dumped in the sea. And as I understand it, and I could be wrong, so if any of our Muslim brothers can correct me, that's fine. But I don't think that's the way Muslim burial works. I think the way it works is they have to be buried within a certain place and time of where they died. Yeah. They took him off
that
land.
Sounds like a Viking funeral.
It sounds like they're trying to cover something up.
Well, yeah. And where was Osama killed?
I don't know. Maybe they have declassified some Osama video where he got murked. But like the video I saw, they were like, we found Osama in a house and he's watching TV. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
This motherfucker's been running around for a decade and he's hiding in a house watching programs about him. And the only video you have with all this fucking millions of dollars of empire militarism is kind of a grainy video of this guy sitting here going like this and not get the fuck out of here. Yeah. So let's say that they do, and they did, and let's say they actually got the bad guy. How many lives did it cost? How much money did it take? How many failed resources? How many liberties or rights did we impose upon by going into Iraq and Afghanistan? So we know, because the reason that 9/11 happened was because of anti-American sentiment from all of the shit that we've been doing in the Middle East for decades.
For a long time.
For decades. We've been overthrowing Iran and trying to do this shit since the 50s, since after World War. The United States Central Intelligence Agency and all of the major arms of the military have been fucking with everybody because we can, because we're the big military might, because we're the atomic powerhouse. So we go in there, we destabilize this region. We know when we go in there, originally, that extremism isn't something that you stamp out in a 2-week war or a 2-year war or a 20-year war. We talked about this when it was going on. The people that are fighting for the Taliban right now and the people that are being enrolled in Al-Qaeda right now, or the people that are even probably climbing the ladder, are probably related to some dead people 20, 15, 10 years ago that were killed at the end of our forces because we drone striked a terrorist target and blew his whole family to pieces.
Well, yeah. Well, and that's my frustration about it was, going back to 7th grade when 9/11 happened, this happened. And it wasn't even me knowing anything. I didn't even know much about, necessarily that like beliefs from people in the Middle East and more of the tribal, but I'm thinking, just being a person, like Osama bin Laden's the target and you go into a country, he's not there, they don't have weapons, and you just completely tear it to shreds. those kids, and we've talked about it in our podcast before, you know, if a country invaded the United States and did that to me, and they killed my family, and my country's in ruin, what else is there to do? You know, like...
Yeah, people don't put themselves in the shoes of countries that we bomb the shit out of. What they said was, Iraq has weapons of mass destruction, we think.
Yeah.
WMDs.
Yep.
After 9/11, it's really easy to scare the shit out of people. Just let the major media outlets report about dirty bombs and all these scary fucking terrorist
Well, and
weapons.
if they got WMDs, why the fuck are they running planes into...
Right.
Right.
Yeah. You wouldn't want to use common sense.
So...
But we were told not only that, but then when the WMD bullshit went down, oh, well, actually Al-Qaeda.
Yeah.
That's actually the reason. There's some Al-Qaeda in there. Didn't you know that all the Middle Eastern people that are brown, they're all the same?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
They might, I mean, they maybe had 2 people that were associated with Al-Qaeda in Iraq. Does that mean that Iraq is working with Al-Qaeda? Is that the soundbite that you use in the news to spin that this is actually legit? We have no business going into Iraq.
Yeah.
We have no business sending American service people to Iraq whatsoever.
Yeah.
Iraq was a stain because everybody knew that we weren't supposed to be there. After we got there and the whole fucking region destabilized and everything broke into tribal warfare and enormously important archaeological stuff in museums was completely trashed and lost forever, we did that shit.
Yeah.
We fucking destabilized everything and it was a joke and people died for nothing. A lot of people died for nothing. But Afghanistan, you can make an argument. You can go, that's where these guys are hiding. The terrorists are there. We have the satellite imagery. We know for a fact because of intelligence. That's where we're going. Mm-hmm. Still took 10 years. Took 10 years too long because we misappropriated forces to Iraq when all of them should have went to Afghanistan and just completely assimilated that entire place, right? After all of this, we know what caused this Muslim extremism is not something that just goes away. The type of ideology that breeds this type of thinking justifies to people that they can harm and infringe themselves upon other people because their ideas are superior. Mm-hmm. You can't really reason with them. Mm-hmm. If they die, it's a good thing to them, you know, martyrdom. Mm-hmm. That's perfectly fine for them. Mm-hmm. They told us this. Our intelligence knew what we were up against. A perfect enemy. Poor, ill-equipped. We have tons of weapons. We can blow them to smithereens, and they just pop right back up because they hate us.
Yeah.
And they have good reason to. So we know that now. We decide to go into Afghanistan. We are stopping the Taliban, Al-Qaeda, whoever, ISIS from getting into Afghanistan. We're protecting it. We know because our intelligence knew 20 years ago, and because Vice just put a clip out of the Taliban 6 months ago. Mm-hmm. It was a message to Joe Biden. And it was him going, hey, we're going to get control of this shit again. Mm-hmm. We're going to sit up in the hills and we don't care if we die and we're patient. We'll wait up here. Yep. We're not going to try and deal with all your bullshit, but eventually you'll move and we'll come right fucking back in here because this is our shit.
Yep.
They knew that. And Biden's like, well, we're just going to pull out. And not only did they do that, they pulled everybody out. The Taliban flushed in, just like they said that they were going to do.
Less than 24 hours?
Yeah. We go into a panic. It looks like they're leaving Vietnam in failure all over again. They're being chased out by the Taliban. And then, because of this genius plan to rip everybody out, you have like thousands of Americans in Afghanistan holed up in people's basements and shit because they don't know if they're going to get executed for helping the American empire.
Yeah. 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 And that, I mean, like you said, it's more of an ideology. And
you ain't going to change that in 20 years.
No. And we, like, having the intelligence we do, like, we know what's going to happen. I being in 7th grade, even when this happened, it just, like I said, not even having all the information that I have now, I'm going, you're not going to, unless you completely just wipe the Middle East off the face of the earth.
Yeah,
there's always...
Unless you commit an act of genocide.
Right. There's going to be more people.
Yeah.
And they're going to hate our country even more. And the crazy part about it, all the lives lost, all the time, all the money spent. We go in there, we outfit these people with modern weapons, all this stuff, and it takes less than 24 hours. And now the people that they were trying to
prevent
from have more weaponry.
They're wearing our fucking helmets.
Yeah. I'm sorry, it's not funny, but it's like...
We paid to put helmets and guns in the hands of the Taliban.
Yep.
Our taxpayer dollars are funding the terrorism that we've spent 20 years funding to stop the terrorism. Fucking head is exploding.
Yeah.
It's the most dysfunctional, corrupt, backwards, and here's the problem. Maybe it's just a huge fucking failure, right? But it's not just money. People die in there.
Oh, a bunch.
There are people, there are Americans that went over there to defend liberty because their fellow Americans were attacked by extremism. They gave their lives there. Mm-hmm. You have service people, and I'm willing to accept any opinions from any service people. I'd love to have them, but most of them have been saying to me and to other people I know, we were protecting Afghan citizens there now. Mm-hmm. We went in and destabilized the shit, and we had to keep control of it because the Taliban in all of these places or groups wanted to move in. Mm-hmm. You now have a moral responsibility for disrupting this region, to preserve this region, and keep extremism out for a lifetime.
Yeah.
For an entire generation. If you're going to go in and occupy a land and keep extremism out, you have to wait for them to die and get so bored with waiting that they go, well...
Yeah.
Maybe we should just, you know what? It was 40 or 50 years ago and shit's changed and like, I'm just going to give it up. 20 years, embedded ideologies, hatred, remembering their little brother blown to pieces by a bomb that went off target and had civilian, casualties of war. That shit ain't going away in 10 or 15, 20 fucking years.
Well, and that's a good point too, because that's something that is kind of common sense going in there.
Yeah.
Like doing something that big. Like, you got to think, okay, we got to be in here for the long haul. And we were even than what it was portrayed, we were there even longer.
Yeah.
But, you can't tell me that high-ups and intelligence thought we were just going to go in there, clean shop, and then get out of there and everything was going to be good.
No.
But a lot of people thought that.
Yeah.
We're
going to go in there and we're going to level everything.
Yeah.
You haven't been out of Iowa. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You don't know what Afghanistan looks like. You don't know what the fuck's going on there.
Yeah.
But the amount of misappropriated resources based on a conditional response of fear is unbelievable.
Yeah.
The amount of loss of human life in Iraq and in Afghanistan now for nothing.
Well, and the people
is unbelievable.
And the people, when people were divided, because even a lot of service members, not all, but a lot kind of brainwashed into thinking what they're doing is right. What do you say now? Well, and that's the thing. I was talking to Spud, mm-hmm. and he didn't even want to talk about it. He's like, why did I go over there?
Yeah.
And
you have a right to ask that question.
100%. Because I just brought it up, and I'm like, man, you see this shit going on? And he just goes, I don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah.
He's like,
I understand. Because here you have... Arnold, shush! Here you have guys that are going over there for legitimate reasons. The thing that bothered me about Iraq is I was saying, and I've said this unpopular thing, but I feel like this is the only way that you honor dead men. You say what the truth is. And the truth is people died in Iraq for no reason. Mm-hmm. They should have never been there. Mm-hmm. I can go to Afghanistan, and after our country is attacked by extremism, I have a justifiable reason to be there. Mm-hmm. If somebody said, I want to go to Afghanistan and defend our country, this is not right. What they did on 9/11 needs retribution and justice. Okay. I can identify with that, right? I still think the government is in control of a bunch of people that are better than them. I still think that the government's handing orders to a military unit and essentially having a bunch of young people executed for profit.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you want to sign up and defend, fine. But Iraq, that's not freedom fighting. Mm-mm. There's nothing going on there. That's just empire building. Mm-hmm. So a bunch of people died there, and a bunch of people died in Afghanistan, and we had an opportunity in Afghanistan to stick around and to make sure that the people that were there and that were accepting some kind of new way of life, I guess, that we were imposing upon the country by our occupation. They became dependent on this.
Yeah.
They became dependent on the normalcy of American occupation. And then we went, here's a huge amount of shit, weapons, vehicles, armor. You guys are good. And then we found out those guys, they weren't really that good.
No.
They have never dealt with warfare. The American war machine has been creating war for the last 50 years, so they know how to do this shit.
Yeah.
But when the Taliban comes in and is like, I will kill you, I don't give a shit. Most of these guys are like, oh,
They're like, fuck this.
yeah, you know what? Maybe it's time to...
Yeah.
It's a really shitty situation, but the thing that bothers me is just what are the veterans going through that put it all on the line, that sacrificed everything over there, that lost men, that lost, body parts.
Mm-hmm.
And they come back and they see within a matter of a day or two, all of that work, all of that, the good work that they did is gone.
Yep.
It's all been undone, and it's all because of bureaucracy. It's all because of chicken hawks. It's all because of these fucking losers in politics. Corrupt. They've been corrupt forever. People know it. It's pathetic. Like America should feel a great deal of shame that people like this are allowed to make decisions like this. That they can't look back and go, hey, we made a huge amount of mistakes, but we have to make sure that they weren't in vain. We got to make sure that the people that died here, they don't die in vain, and we don't give it up in 48 hours.
Well, when do people like collectively come together and think about this timeline? Like how much we've been dealing with this? In 20 years, just less than 24 hours, it's shot to hell.
How many
like
trillions of dollars?
How do you, as a citizen, how do you just brush that off? And it's one of those things like that video of all those people jumping on the carriers that were leaving and they're falling off. Like putting yourself in someone's shoes there when you destabilize a country. Now you got a bunch of pissed off extremists rolling in. They're gonna murk motherfuckers.
Yeah,
they're gonna.
People are running for their lives.
Yeah,
and people are gonna die.
Yeah,
people are gonna die, and people have died. And now, when I say it's for nothing, people can't really argue.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
After Osama bin Laden died, or we got him and we killed him and we thought we eradicated, we might as well just pulled out.
Well, it's with our intelligence and our resources, it goes back to that. Like, killing one guy is like an assassination. You've got special ops.
Yeah.
You've got teams for that, right? And that's what took them down.
Yeah.
And then Iraq is just this whole other thing. Mm-hmm. We've just gone in there and started a war with a country and left. And now it's going to be, who knows, man. You see the blowback from that. It's going to be messy.
It's a generational thing, and it'll keep coming back. And I believe that this is an intentional construct. I believe that this is the war machine's ability to create generational hatred and continue this war machine going. They know that at some point in time, some angry person that we killed a family member of 15 or 20 years ago is going to commit some extreme act of terror.
Yeah.
And now they have a new justification to go. They even said the war on terror doesn't have an end date. It's just a constant, a perpetual war.
It's a constant.
That's not what America is.
Even when they were selling it before they went, it was more of the promise, we're going to stop this.
Yeah.
Then, Biden came out and said it, and he pretty much was saying, you can't change these people. They're extremists. So we're getting out of there. We're saving our.
Why'd we go then?
Exactly. So now the script's flipped. Now you're saying the complete opposite of what you guys were saying 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And I feel like people just kind of go day by day, and they just listen to it and they just accept it. And they're they got the best interest. They know.
Yeah.
No, they don't. They've known about this the whole time.
What did we get out of Iraq? Nothing.
Mm-mm.
What do we now have in Afghanistan? What should we have? Something tangible. What do we have? Nothing. All of that stuff was a complete waste of time. How much did that cost?
I couldn't even.
Trillions upon trillions of dollars for zero effect.
Mm-hmm.
All of that money was wasted. Enough money to feed kids and prevent hunger worldwide
Yep.
for years and years and years and years for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think about what an enormous waste that is, not only of money, but just human lives for no effect. If you take human lives out of the equation and you're just all about the money, which America has been known to be, if you have half of the amount of money that we spent on war over there and you invest it in security at the border, nobody ever gets through that security. We have the most advanced security in the fucking solar system.
Yeah.
If we don't have boots on the ground in 14 different fucking countries, or just one or two that we don't belong in, and we have all of those soldiers in America spending their money in America in shoulder to shoulder at the border, this is the thing that I don't understand. Maybe I can get like a 4-star general to get on this and talk to me about this. We have the Atlantic Ocean on the east, which means we can see things coming a long ways away. We have the Pacific Ocean on the west, and we have Hawaii with a military base out there. So we see basically everything all the way to the west. Then on top of us, we have this enormous friendly country, Canada, that we're allies with. And below us, we have Mexico. Next to Mexico is the Gulf. We are completely geographically isolated, just like Bert and Tremors.
Yeah.
Geographic isolation. That's why we moved up here. But we do, and we're the most powerful military in country, the most heavily armed populace on the planet. Nobody's going to consistently fuck with us.
No.
What we should have been doing is looking at 9/11 and go, wait a minute, why did this go down?
Yeah.
Why did this happen? Because they hate our freedom. No. Maybe that's true, but I think it's a little more complicated than that.
Yeah.
Oh, we were fucking with them for like decades.
Yeah.
And we were giving Saddam Hussein chemical weapons to use on other people that we were good with. We were good with that.
Yeah.
But when he invaded Kuwait and took over some oil, we weren't good with that. People didn't look back and see kind of the writing on the wall. And even with Saddam, even with the removal of power of Saddam, they knew Saddam was a bad guy. They knew he was a bad guy when he invaded in Kuwait.
They knew.
In the 90s.
They knew from the jump.
That was their whole thing. Oh, he puts people in shredder. He's a horrible guy. Sure he is. Saddam gets his ass beat down in like 2 weeks in Operation Desert Storm in the 90s.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, I made a mistake. pulls everybody out of Kuwait, and they're like, all right.
Yeah. Yep. All right. I guess we're good.
You're good. Back to power, baby. We'll see you in a few.
Yep.
Then this whole thing happens, and the mass media for the first time makes an association based on intelligence that might not be good.
Yeah.
Now you have potentially experts in the intelligence agency potentially feeding information to mass media outlets about things, and you have Saddam Hussein's execution. An execution is not something you're going to allow a cell phone to slip into.
Yeah.
But they did.
Yeah.
Somebody somehow got a cell phone, and in this very, very high-level international execution was able to get very good high-definition footage of Saddam getting hung. That was intentional.
Yeah.
It's either incompetence or it's an intentional show of force by somebody to go, we'll kill your leaders and destabilize your whole shit if we want to.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we do. We got nothing to show for it. All of that money could have put us in space. It could have fed poor children. It could have done the things that, religions don't do all across the world. And it got spent to murder people.
Well, and that's we were talking about it. We were talking about it on an earlier podcast. But when big things like that happen, it's very like 9/11. It's very easy to get emotional about it. And it's very easy to get a nation behind what you need to do to kind of get justice, But kind of what we've been talking about along this 20 years, nothing to show for it. Yeah, we killed those leaders, but you kill a leader, there's going to be another guy.
Might be worse.
Yeah, there's going to be another guy, right? And
Probably a family member of somebody we killed.
I'm sure we killed a lot of bad guys, but how many good people did it take? How many of our soldiers, right?
Yeah.
Who I'm not insulting their intelligence, but even what the military does, they take recruiters to poor areas, and they give you money,
and they lie,
and they lie. They give you money, and that's what it is. It's brainwash,
and it's like they joke about that. But like you're lying to people who are risking their life,
that are going to go risk their life to do something. So those people have died. We've killed a bunch of innocent lives over there, and now we put it in a place where people hate us even more.
Yeah.
So now more of it, like you said, that perpetual thing's going to keep going. And it's hard because even me, right? If personally, if somebody attacks me, my thing's been like, no, I'm going to get you back. Right. On a bigger scale like this, you got to be very careful. About this it's a big fucking deal. This isn't, I have a beef with one other person, we squash it. However,
people's lives are on the line.
There's a lot of lives, and it's going to continue to go. And, that's the shitty part is they got not everybody, but they got a lot of people on board for this war after 9/11. And kind of what you're saying, what if we just, took that, saw how it happened, prevented what happened, made stronger allies because of this, right? Kind of like a sympathy thing. We're not going to attack you, but we need to protect our country, and we need to work together with our allies and so on and so forth. Use that money in a different way. And it's just completely the opposite. How many people have fucking died over there? I kind of want to pull up the numbers, man, because
as far as I know, over 1 million people have died in the Middle East since the United States occupied Iraq and Afghanistan. So that's genocide when it's another country.
Yeah.
When it's the United States, it's the war on terror.
Yeah.
And here's the thing about the war on terror. This collateral damage thing is bullshit. It's not a real thing. It's perpetual damage.
Yeah.
Is what it is. We already talked about it. Let's say I kill a bad guy. Let's say there's a bad guy and he's trafficking people and he's a terrorist and he blows shit up and he's the quintessential bad guy. And his name is Bob. He's somebody's uncle.
Yeah.
His name's probably not Bob, but he's somebody's uncle, and he's a little off, but not off enough for the family to disavow him or to get rid of him. But he's off. In his secret life, like many American people have, they have some degenerate ideal like extremism or bigotry or whatever the case is. There's bigots all over America. There's extremists all over America. They're not the majority, but this minority, Bob, could be fitting into a family and then struck by a drone strike. He's a terrorist, or he's associated with terrorists. We got the bad guy. We made 20, 30 more.
20 and 30, yeah.
We kill a child, and the family of that child, the friends of that child, pretty much anybody that has any association to that child whatsoever or ever has an association, now they have a reason to kill people.
Mm-hmm.
They have a reason to hate people. They have a reason to sit in these countries and go, how could Americans allow this to happen? If they're truly liberated, free people and diverse thinkers and the most bright minds in all of existence, how could they allow a government to steal their money and use it to murder complete strangers? And when you say that, people are like, our military isn't murdering. No, they're following orders. Mm-hmm. They're doing what they're supposed to do. And what they're supposed to do is defend liberty, defend our borders. What they're not supposed to do is go fuck with people.
Yeah.
An empire build and be given orders to raid houses and communities they don't really ever need to be in for their benefit or their people. America, after the disbanding of the USSR, when America became the big last superpower, we just basically started puffing our chest and going, you know what we're going to do? Whatever we want. Who's going to stop us? Nobody could really impose any kind of military threat upon us just because of nukes. Any country that would be basically committing worldwide suicide.
Well, and it's crazy because when you think of that, like without nukes, without nuclear weapons, you think we'd still be here?
I don't know. Because we've always had that ace in the hole, and then Russia got the ace in the hole, and then pretty quick everybody had the ace in the hole, and they went, shit, if we all use this, everybody's
dead.
So they know that this world war, I truly believe the people in the upper echelon that are controlling this complex, I think they know that nuclear war can't ever happen. The threat's fun. The threat's fun.
Right, and it's a good way.
They
to
can scare people,
yeah,
but they know it can never happen, right? Or if it does, it's the end of time.
yeah,
But that's great then. We won't do that. We'll just keep perpetual war going.
yeah.
We'll just spend trillions of dollars to have our men and women in a place they really shouldn't be if they're just truly defending liberty and the Constitution. Empire building and wasting American taxpayer dollars so that 20 years later we can allow the Taliban to take all of our shit back in 48 hours.
Yeah.
It should be proportionately one of the biggest wastes in human history.
Seriously.
Right? We as a species should be forward thinking, hopefully, in going, you know what? How can we not murder each other internationally and work together to get, into space?
Yeah.
No. We spent disproportionate amounts of money for nothing. And we killed huge amounts of people for nothing. And we had huge amount of our people killed for nothing. That's dishonorable.
Yeah.
To the vets that actually gave their lives.
Yeah.
That's dishonorable for the guys and the girls that signed up to defend the country after 9/11 and went over there and died. It's disrespectful.
Yeah.
And I get really, really tired of being soft about it in placating to people's feelings.
Well, it's kind of like everybody wants to be fucking hard when this is going down. And my idea is right. And now the reason I wanted to talk about it is, I'm looking up on it and I'm like, really? It took that long for all this shit to be just done. 20 years. And I'm still hearing COVID. I'm still hearing this, that, and the other. And I don't see people really uprising being like, well, what the fuck?
No. People are now, 15-second attention spanners? Like, just in our lifetime and in our parents' lifetime, that the attention gap or the level that people can keep their attention has, been cut in half. Carl Sagan talked about this. And that's really spooky.
Yeah.
Because when the mass media comes on and you hear a story like something like this, there's this super rich guy with an island and he was fucking kids and he was pipelining kids to high profile people politically within or potentially within the political sphere or the elite wealth sphere. And he somehow committed suicide in prison. And then his girlfriend got picked up, and she's in prison, and we don't really hear about her.
We don't know what's going on.
We don't know what's going on, but we know people are sending her good wishes and all this type of thing. When you have COVID, when you have a mass hysteria, and that's what this is a mass hysteria. Make no mistake, people are disconnected with the term. We are living in an age right now where we are experiencing massive hysteria and massive mental delusion. I think the mental health epidemic is a result of disconnectivity because of social media and the anonymity of the social media sphere, allowing people to be complete and total cunts. Completely self-deluded. Yeah. Oh, the world's all about me. Nobody gives a fuck about you.
Well, and that's exactly what it is, and that's why COVID works so brilliantly.
To break it up.
Because COVID is something that is being passed around through media. Everybody's gonna get it. They're around it.
Yep. Be afraid of it.
So
the vaccine works.
And
it doesn't.
Most people live day to day, so they're worried about them getting sick, dying, being affected by this, and all this other
You're
big
more
shit.
likely to be sick.
This other big shit that we've been doing for 20 years, or like you said with Maxwell and Epstein, that they've been doing for fucking years, and they've been trafficking to politicians.
Forgotten.
That they still won't bring out the list, or they cross names off, and I'm like, at some point, are people going to be like, whoa, something's fishy here?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Like,
no.
that's the thing. And that's why, it blows my fucking mind.
In the last 2 years, you have Epstein vaporized. Mm-hmm. You have essentially everybody knows that somebody had Epstein killed and the deal was paid off to protect somebody.
Yeah.
That's enough right there.
Mm-hmm.
COVID. You have one of the biggest failures, if not the biggest failure, in the history of American militarism, let's say, with Afghanistan and with Iraq, more because of politicians' decisions than military decisions, right? No, there's people pissed off about it. There's people pissed off about it because there's fucking millions of veterans
Yeah.
that should be pissed off about it, and they're talking about it. But most of the people caught up in the COVID craze, they don't give a fuck about Afghanistan. They're not thinking about Afghanistan. They're thinking about COVID.
Well, even tying it together, even the problems we have with race in this country, and we've had the storm on the Capitol and Black Lives Matter and stuff like that. It's easy. Yeah, when we're dealing with it as a country and it affects you, people want to lash out. But we have higher ups making these orders and they're complete failures, and there's a lot of shit that's not being put out there. And this is on a more massive scale. Like it's not a thinking of humanity. You know, we're not thinking about what we've done to Iraq, where they're at now, and it's one of those things. I haven't been there, and I haven't, you know, our buddy Spud's been there and he's seen the way it's been, but I can promise you, it ain't like here.
Who in America goes to Iraq?
Well,
nobody.
Nobody.
Soldiers do.
Yeah.
And when they come back, they're fucked
They're
up.
fucked up. Yeah.
So what does that tell you?
So like I feel like being in such a place of power and having as much resources as we do, if we're going to go destabilize a country, kind of going back to what you said, it's our responsibility.
Yeah.
We've taken on that. That's our responsibility. And now we're just pulling out. And now who the fuck knows what's going to happen in the next 5 years?
People made their money.
Yeah.
People, we were there for 20 years. People like Joe Biden or people that were in the political sphere that were heavily invested in defense, they made money. Mm-hmm. They made money. It's blood money.
Yeah. Yep.
And now they're pulling out, and history will go, well, this was kind of a bummer for us. This is a letdown. The Taliban got back in control 10 years later. They blew up some big city, and they tried to impose other legislation against the war on terror. Mm-hmm. Been spying on American citizens ever since 9/11. And they snuck that one by American citizens because American citizens are fucking pussies.
Yeah.
And they were all terrified out of their minds.
Yeah.
So the brave ones went to fight Al-Qaeda, and the other ones flew a flag and were like, we're more unified than ever, but I hate Republicans.
Yep.
Pieces of shit.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
So the storming of the Capitol, now they're doing an investigation into the storming of the Capitol. And here's my thoughts on the storming of the Capitol. Can we reach a point in American corruption where I can go, that's necessary. It's necessary for people to storm and to rebel and to revolt. That's what our principles of the founding, our founding principles would ask for.
Yeah.
Am I going to be investigated for treason?
Straight up.
Right. Can I not propose the question? And why is it such a big surprise that so many people are pissed off?
Yeah.
Has nobody been paying attention for, I don't know, like the last 60 years and seen like corruption on top of corruption on top of corruption?
It's just getting worse.
Probably pedophiles somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh, well, you know, we're just going to let the Afghanistan thing and the Iraq thing and the Vietnam thing and the Korea thing slide. Well, like there's people dead because of that shit. Mm-hmm. You can't let that slide. That's like morally inept.
Yeah.
You have to remember the mistakes. And I feel like our attention span, going back to what we were talking about, is so short now.
Well, isn't that the point of history?
Yes,
Make
to
a
connect the
mistake.
dots. To connect the dots and remember how.
And not make the same mistake twice.
Right.
And you talk about Vietnam.
People don't even know what it is. Yeah.
You talk about Vietnam, and then we got the war on Iraq. And it sucks. I'm not playing Nostradamus here. But if there's another big attack in the United States,
oh sure,
it's going to be another one.
Yeah. Well, that's a fucking gold mine for some people.
Yep.
Like people don't get it. These people that wear American patches, not the military, but the politicians can go, oh, we need to go kill some people.
Yep.
Because
there's money in
we're
it.
protecting liberty.
Yep.
That's what they say. They say they're protecting liberty. What they
there's-
don't say is that their portfolio is based on the military-industrial complex, thriving in war, the war machine.
Yeah.
It's not profitable to not be at war. So we kind of have, I think that our politicians have a kind of silent hope that extremism will reach in here because it allowed them to reach into our pocketbooks.
Yeah.
We're already like $23 trillion in debt.
Yeah.
Most of the reason that we're in debt is the wars, is the militarism. So again, now our whole country's in debt. I think every citizen on the entire in the entire United States, even children, owe $35,000 in debt if we wanted to pay the $23 trillion off. That's all because of the war. It's all because of the war that should have never happened and the people never really wanted.
Mm-hmm.
The government didn't even go, we're going to declare war. They just approved military action as a response to terrorism.
Yeah, they went against everybody.
They weren't going, let's vote on it. They weren't saying, let's see what the people want to do. Let's see if maybe the people, why couldn't the people decide to fortify our borders and get better security and go, we'll let that shit stay over there, but we never got a choice.
Who was like our biggest ally in that?
In what?
When we decided to invade Iraq.
Oh, we had a lot of allies. We had the UK was one of our allies. France.
Who was it? Who was like the prime minister of UK?
At the time, I want to say Tony Blair.
Yeah, it was Tony Blair.
Tony Blair.
Yep. But also when you say there's that higher up, I'll go as far to say I don't even think that that's just in the U.S.
What do you mean?
The U.S. politicians. I think they're connected, right?
Oh yeah, they have to be
those 1%ers, right?
Yeah. People are like, oh, it's like you're talking a conspiracy. No, I'm talking about these people that run the world. They just talk to each other.
Yeah.
So their
they keep
ideology,
their circle tight.
Their ideology and their circle is very tight. But please don't think that it in any way represents what the common American values are.
Yeah.
They're disconnected from the reality of people that work 40 to 80 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
They have no fucking idea what that life is like, and they don't give a shit either.
No.
People that exist in this realm, whether it be elite wealth or extreme political power, get to a position where I feel they look down upon people in a way where they believe they should be making decisions for people. Mm-hmm. Where they believe they're so intelligent or they're so virtuous or they're so whatever their quality is that they deserve to make decisions for you, or your decisions don't matter because you're just kind of a dumb, ignorant worker bee.
Yeah.
I truly believe that's what they think. I truly believe like elite families like the Rockefellers or the Rothschilds, not because I think of them with malice or that they even think of me with malice. They're so disconnected with what I am and what you are and what she is.
There's no relation.
They have convinced themselves and their children and their lineage that they have a birthright to run the world.
Yeah.
Why? Because look, the world's here and we've been running it.
Yep.
So everything's going good. And if you don't do this, who knows? They can't take care of themselves.
Yeah.
Well, it's 2021 and we can, and at the hands and the leashes of our handlers, we're not doing that well.
Mm-mm.
We have a political spectrum that we know is corrupt. We have an extremist leftist ideology now that's going, you shouldn't be able to have guns. We're going to send people with guns to take your guns.
Yeah.
Because we don't have guns and we're not going to be able to come and take your guns without them. So we're going to.
Well, and then you think, okay.
That's Hitler shit.
Yeah. Well, and bigger. That's how shit like that happens.
It is.
The bigger picture, right? Because when we think, even when you watch the leftists and gun violence and all that stuff, because they're trying to. They're
always
trying.
They're
trying
to
knock it down.
My heart is bleeding.
Now, here, it sounds terrible. Don't think I'm an asshole for it. Right.
Yeah,
but with how many people there are on the earth, how many people there are in the United States, gun violence is going to happen, right? Regardless of what gun. If you're a bad person and you want to get a gun, there's so many guns in circulation, you can get a gun.
Yeah.
If you want to do something, and we've talked about that. But even regardless, even if you bought a gun and you killed somebody, crime of passion or whatever the hell it is,
most of them
terrible. Yeah, it's terrible. But everybody thinks like we got to find a perfect solution. There will be no perfect solution with how many people we have. Right. It's impossible.
Yeah.
So
you can't regulate human behavior.
Do you want to stop? Do you want to stop some murders of some people? Which, yeah, if in a perfect world, if we could stop all that, that'd be great. But we can't. Or do you want to give up all your guns? And it gets to a point where there are no guns in circulation, and they've taken guns from everybody, and then we got a Hitler situation where our officials, the higher ups, go, we're going to do this, and well, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah, you're going to take these vaccines. You're going to take these fucking vaccines, right? And if you don't, You're an unarmed populace. People don't get that, though. They go, and this is where the hypocrisy gets me with the left. And I have tried to stay neutral literally for half my life. Like, I've tried so hard. But right now, the left is fucking whining so loud.
Yeah.
Here's the left. Mass murders are horrible. Duh. Gun violence is horrible. Also, duh. Mm-hmm. But you know what else is horrible? When Barack Obama furthers the drone program.
Yeah.
And kills baby overseas with Terminator drones.
But you don't know him.
And you celebrate it because he gave you his Sweet 16 pics.
Yeah. Yep.
You celebrate it because he's not a dumb redneck named George W. Bush Jr. from the South that you can go, look at this fucking idiot.
Yeah.
He's a charismatic minority
Yep.
who furthered Bush's policies, and everybody went, I love Michelle's dress. I love Barack Obama.
Attention span.
You're not obviously checking up on this dude. Mm-hmm. It's obvious to me that America takes what they see on the surface and they just make all of their stupid little assumptions. They don't do any quality checks. So I voted for Obama going, oh shit. This literally, I fell victim to the ploy. He's not
He's
Bush.
charismatic. He's younger.
He's anti-Bush.
Yeah.
If you take Bush and you line up all of his basic shit, Barack is the exact opposite of that. So I was like, well, here we go.
He had like that JFK factor.
Primed.
You know what I'm saying?
Primed.
The younger,
yes,
progressive
yes.
guy. And really,
Can
like
see
you
the
said,
old,
he did good in the limelight, and he was a good talker.
Until it came down to it.
Yeah. But when it came down to doing stuff.
Yep. Yeah, like he appealed to the minority base by going, these drug laws are, you know, they're racially motivated and they disproportionately put people of color in jail. True. Mm-hmm. We're going to make sure that we change these drug laws and, you know, blah, blah, blah. 2 weeks later, the White House has no plans at this time to.
Yep.
Okay.
Got in office and we're good.
You got a huge, enormous petition of thousands of signatures that went to the White House to legalize cannabis or whatever the drugs were that people wanted to. And you put out a statement saying that your problems were too dire. The same problems you went into office with?
Yeah.
You made these campaign promises, and then you basically bailed out and you towed the establishment line. Nobody checked because you looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Now you're going to complain to me about a disproportionately small amount of gun deaths when you're fully funding an empire, driving a military into foreign lands and resulting in the death and chaos of an entire region. Mm-hmm. You're a fucking hypocrite.
Yeah.
Shut your fucking mouth.
Yep.
I don't want to hear any more liberal whining about gun violence and how their feelings are so oppressed and shit. When you've been allowing this to happen with your taxpayer dollars for the last 15 or 20 fucking years, and I've been saying it, and you haven't been saying shit because you got nothing to say.
There is nothing
because
to say.
you don't know. Because if you go, that's not true about Barack Obama, I'm gonna go check on the drones. You're gonna find out I'm fucking right because I was paying attention. But these people are out here just sucking up the news like a nipple.
Yep.
It's like they're sucking on their mama's teat. Give me bad data. Give me bad data so that I can spread my shit all over. So that my coworkers in this little rat box cubicle situation that we go on, I can go spit my Fox News and either half of the people there will love me or they'll hate my guts. Fuck America. Seriously.
Yeah,
there's so much
ridiculous.
opportunity here. There's so much great shit in America, but even in Canada, you have shit, just people totalitarian acting like, here's the deal. Nobody has a right to tell somebody else what they can do or infringe upon their liberties, their life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Period.
Yep.
You have a right to liberty. We don't have anybody that gives a shit about that right now, except for like the 1%ers who are ready to die to defend it. Mm-hmm. Right? Everybody else is more concerned with feelings. This is a place that we're at now that I was warned about when I was a child that we should never be as a country. Mm-hmm. That we should be able to have controversial opinions. That's the entire point. Mm-hmm. That we should be able to make our own decisions about our health, even if they're not really that good. If I want to smoke cigarettes, I get to smoke cigarettes. If I want to drink alcohol, I want to drink alcohol. Smoke weed, do coke, whatever. That's liberty. That's the consequence of choice.
Yeah.
We should be able to, as liberated people, look at these 5 case studies of people that do meth and go, we shouldn't do that shit. But if I want to do it, nobody should be able to step on my throat and stop me from doing it. Yeah. That's my shit.
Yeah.
That's not the way that our society has been run for a long time. The economic policy is a whole different conversation altogether. But the fact of the matter is, people aren't interested in defending liberty right now. They're interested in defending their stupid fucking ideas.
Yeah.
The ideas that have been limited in a narrow focus by social media, selectively catering to their stupid extremist ideologies.
Mm-hmm.
And now when I meet somebody who leans left, they don't usually lean kind of left. They're all the way on the spectrum. Trump. Trump's not in office. Let it go.
It's over.
Let it go. Focus on getting your boy the cognitive help that he needs.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, Democrats, we know you don't care if Biden kicks the bucket. We know you want Kamala in there.
Yep. You want Kamala.
You guys, here's Democrats after Biden gets elected and Trump goes out.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
and if Biden kicks the bucket and Kamala's president, people will love that shit. They won't check on it.
Yep.
They won't see if she's somebody that unifies the populace. Maybe she is. Maybe she's not. But people now aren't interested in about what actual American principles and ideals are. They're interested in being right on their stupid internet fights and debates and discussions.
Yep.
That's it. And I would argue this. If your whole life is comprised of political debate online with strangers or even people you kind of know, to no end and no actual real compromise, only a lack of inflection and thus complete misinterpretations and angry fights, you don't have any fucking life.
Yeah.
And I used to be one.
I used to be one too. I don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Like
I do it selectively, but man,
I'll do it.
There's some times where I regret it.
And when I did it, it wasn't like
trying
it
to
wasn't
educate.
for me. Yeah, it wasn't for me to be right. It was just to kind of educate. Because you see some people spouting ridiculous shit. And you're
But
like,
it ain't
okay,
never
I
like
guess.
that, is it?
But they've already got the idea. So you could be right. You could everything could fall out of their I won't say favor, but it could go completely against what they're saying, and they'll still find a way to justify it.
Or to run.
You know,
Or they'll just run.
or they'll hide.
A lot of the people that I would debate thoughtfully, and I wouldn't get upset about it.
Mm-hmm.
And when they did, I'd be like, "Hey, I'm not trying to elevate it or make it upset." But they would get to a point where they would say this, and I know you know this because I know you've debated people to this point. I don't need to answer this shit anymore.
Uh-huh.
I don't need to justify myself to you. Well, if you're in this debate, and we're talking about the data, then you kind of do.
Yeah, you kind of do.
Otherwise, maybe you should just get the fuck out of here and not show up in the first place just so you can be seen.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
Yeah.
And this is what I see with a lot of people online. They'll get online, they'll spit their stupid opinion, their unfounded opinion with no references, no resources, no credibility whatsoever. And they'll either get some fellow fucking stupid, brainwashed, delusional people to go, like.
Well, it's clicks.
Or they'll get somebody to go, I disagree with you.
Yep.
Now I get to tell you how stupid you are.
There's your stimulus.
You guys are losers.
Yep. That's the drama, man. It's drama.
And that's no connection.
Well, and it's crazy, man, because you want to talk conspiracy theories when you start talking about like connection of Hollywood and like politicians and stuff like that. Look at how much, even since reality TV started, just how much people love drama. I love when people, like, you're on Tinder or something or any dating app.
Drama free.
I hate drama.
I hate drama. No drama here.
No, you don't.
Yeah, 100% you love it. You have it tattooed on your neck.
You love it. You know, it seems like we're at a point now where a lot of society, they love drama. It's their stimulus.
Yeah.
It's
it's a drug.
It's a stimulus because we live in a society where it's all stimulus. We got to be stimulated all the time.
Fucking notifications.
Yeah.
Notifications. Holy shit.
You know what's crazy too about stuff like that?
Serotonin.
They've got people that have done studies and they do that on purpose. The notification.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I feel like I'm very conscious. There's another fly.
I know.
I'm very conscious, and I get caught in that too.
Of course. Actually, it's interesting that you say that. What I'm most concerned with, or one of my biggest concerns, is artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
The fact that we have artificial intelligence or AI like feeding us marketing information that we don't even know about. The fact that we have artificial intelligence and algorithms in social media that are feeding us data and they don't even understand how they work.
Yeah.
That's spooky shit.
That's really spooky.
Especially in a world where the majority of jobs are productionless.
Mm-hmm.
In America, it's not like we have Detroit City making, the Auto King where
right.
you have these assembly lines. Most of the shit's done by machines, right? And there's people, of course, that work in the auto industry, but a lot of those things have been swallowed up by machines.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a lot of people with productionless, unfulfilling positions and jobs that work for 8 to 10 hours a day. They're on their phone during that time. They're on that phone almost entirely after that time. They're on their phone sometimes when they're driving their kids home. Sometimes they're on their phone late at night till midnight. And that's reality.
Yeah.
Reality isn't like, hey, let's have a bonfire and just talk about like space and like politics and religion and the books that we read, and like, let's just slow this down. It gives you what it is. It's a crack bin. And the biggest addiction in the world that nobody's talking about is electronics and then social media. 100%. If you think about how much social media and electronics affect the human race or have changed the human race in the last 15 years, just in social media, people should be taking enormous looks. There should be ethics committees set up to look at social media and go, is this right? Is this going too fast? Are we able to actually judge the behaviors that we're doing on this effectively?
Well, what's crazy is even me, like, I didn't get on the social media train right away.
Mm-hmm.
But when I got on it. My purpose was, like, even fighting in the UFC, you got to have. That's how you outreach your fans, right?
Yeah, it's marketing.
And they would have summit meetings where they fly all the fighters out there and be like, yo, this is what you got to do on your Twitter. You got to do this. Mm-hmm. We got people that'll help you set all this up. And I'm like, damn, this is
business.
It's business, but it's bizarre. Even now with the gym, though, like, I think of it on, like, my personal, like I said, I'm not perfect, but my stimulus, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about this because I've been having a lot of people come to the gym because I've been trying to be more active about tagging our gym, right? So people putting it out there so much, people see it, and I'm getting a lot of messages. Hey, I want to come to the gym. Hey, I want to do this. I want to do that. And even before I come here, I shower and I'm going through like 3 messages talking to people that want to come sign up.
People from way out.
Right. And that's great. That's good. But then I think about how much time I'm sitting on here messaging, and I'm like, giving details, this, that, and the other. And then I think about, what if we went back in the 90s and the marketing system was completely different? We would put ads out in maybe a newspaper. How I found Taekwondo was an ad in a newspaper, right? I put that ad out, and I'm not keeping track of the ad. It's out there. Mm-hmm. People are going to see it. They're living their lives. They see it. People are going to come to the gym. When people come to the gym, I deal with it there. And I'm like, okay, marketing's working. Yeah, I got people coming in. Nowadays, you can market like that, but you're not going to get as many results as you do through social media. And this is a talk that I had with Duke even, because Duke got on that right away, big on the social media thing. And that's how he signs a lot of people up, through the social media. Because that's the way it is now.
And you have to be on it all the time.
Yes.
It's not like I can post an ad and like, okay.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
It's buried under 1,000 highlight reels other people are posting.
And for me, of course, wanting business to thrive and get bigger, I'm gonna pay attention to everybody.
It's part of your life.
Yeah, it's part of the life, right? But like, it's crazy because I think about how much time that I've been sitting in, and I've made great connections with people, but how much time I'm on my phone now. I'm on my phone even more now, like trying to plug business and stuff like that. And I'm thinking about same thing, like, man, when are you just gonna have some time to just like?
You won't.
You know what I'm saying?
You won't.
Just sit there.
The future is your life is no longer going to be interacting physically with everybody.
Yeah.
The future is your life is going to be put out into the cloud, and if it's put out there enough, it's going to be seen.
And it's going to be easier. People can contact you from all over.
Yeah.
You know,
well, like I was looking at you have been posting more lately, so that's awesome because I'm not really that great at it. I try to be consistent, but I could be way better, and I know that. But I'm like, what would you rather do? Make this marketing piece, or like just get on the ground and drill for like 40 minutes.
Uh-huh.
Get on the ground and drill for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
But then I look at somebody like, the person that we're learning from, Lovato, Professor Lovato. That dude is so on all the time.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, every day he's got like material.
Yep.
Boom, 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 boom. And I can tell that he is on his phone. He has to be on his phone consistently. But you know what? I message him. I get an answer back within the day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's just kind of, I think part of the thing now is if you want to be successful, you have to put a lot of content out consistently because you'll get buried under. And the people that do it well and are true professionals thrive.
Yeah.
They have to. And we talked, I talked with Spud about this, and like, you can't really have a business now and not have a social media presence.
I don't think you can.
You know, and even if you have one and it's not great, it will get buried by the competition.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Well, if you look at any major business, they all have social media.
Yeah.
Right. Like the day the mom and pops just the corner store just going down. It's not a thing anymore. Fucking
bring it back.
You got even gas stations. They got apps now.
Yep.
You got Casey's Rewards. You got like all this shit.
I use them.
Yeah, I know, right? Right.
Take
and
my
like
fake coffees.
And like, I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying the stimulus, right? People get their.
It's a drug.
Kind of reminds me of the breakup when Vince Vaughn goes out with his brother and he's like, "These girls in the new age, they want their information faster. You got to give it to them faster." And he goes up to the ticket. First, I want to wrap you in some saran wrap. No. But
oh yeah,
you remember?
Yeah.
Be arrested for what, Gary? Being awesome. But it's just kind of the idea, the stimulus. It's
overstimulus.
It's overstimulus, and there's even with those apps, getting that little notification. Oh, I want to see what it is. So you're constantly on your phone, and even me, man, I'm in between playing video games. Phone.
Yep, you're addicted. We're all addicted to unfulfilling behavior.
Yeah.
You might get a little burst of some brain chemical that makes you feel great from seeing notifications. This is why I think like it's truly an addiction that nobody's talking about right now.
Yep.
But there's no gratification at the end of the tunnel. Once you log out, you're not taking elation with you.
No.
And you don't even experience elation when you're there. If you're intelligent, you use your social media for marketing your own product. And you can also, and most people don't do this because of their own instincts, but you can also narrow your funnel of information by unfollowing people.
Yeah.
You don't have to, it's crazy now that you have to be friends with people.
Yeah.
I know people that are friends with tons of people that they cannot fucking stand.
Yeah.
That's weird. That's disingenuous to me. And I don't do that. You know, it's like, I don't like you. I'm not your fucking friend.
Yeah. Yep.
But people will do that and they'll spend all of that time looking at that. And I think what happens is like your subconscious self, when you log out of that, you know that you've just invested 15 to 20 minutes in something that wasn't fulfilling. And you ain't getting that shit back.
Yeah.
And then when you start adding it up, you go, damn, I'm spending way too much time not in fulfilling behavior, which ultimately means if I spent that time in fulfilling behavior, I'd have a more fulfilled life.
Yeah.
People aren't doing that. They're addicted to the notification, but they get nothing out of it.
Yeah.
And of course, we have enormous generalized anxiety in our country. Of course, I've felt that myself. Of course, we have a huge mental health epidemic. We got a bunch of people with productionless, meaningless, shitty jobs and bosses that they fucking hate. And they spend the rest of their time on their social media looking at people portraying themselves in a way that has no degree of accuracy whatsoever. And they look at their what seems like shitty life, which is actually just fine.
Yeah.
And they go, I don't have it as good as Nancy. Change it.
Yeah.
Unfollow
Seriously.
Nancy.
Yeah.
You ain't even friends with that bitch.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Quit comparing yourself to her and narrow your field of vision. Imagine the amazement if you just unfollow everybody, but I don't know, your family and friends.
Yeah.
Not your acquaintances. I got people on my friends list, I don't even know them.
Same.
I don't know you.
Well, and it's you gotta
Who are you?
You got to think of the generations ahead, man. Like this goes into like
What if they
kids
don't know
getting
how to talk?
Right. Getting depressed and stuff like that. Well, not knowing how to talk, not interacting, not only does that just make people socially weird, which could lead to other problems.
What's the most important thing for human beings? Sanity, connection with other human beings, acceptance.
Yep.
We have this guise of connectivity. You always hear this word connectivity, interconnectivity, social media. It's not what it said it is. It's a platform. Mm-hmm. It's an internet platform of communication, but it doesn't have shit to do with connecting with people.
No.
Sharing information with them, yeah. But true connection, like where we sit and go, oh shit, you agree? Cool. Yeah. That ain't happening online.
No. Well, it's the same thing. When I've dealt with people who, and we've talked about this before, say that I'm yelling at them through a text message. You know what I'm saying?
Because you're talking firm.
It's mostly females. No, I'm just kidding.
Why are you so angry?
But I had this. I was talking to a female recently that I matched with. I'm guilty.
Hey, try them.
Right?
Try they or
I
them.
I matched.
You don't need to identify as a female, bro. She's a
them.
She's a human being.
I'm sure it happens on the other side too.
I care so much about people.
But
oh,
match or whatever, and this woman asked me for my social media. Oh, you got social media, right? Mm-hmm. I want to talk on another platform. I don't want to talk on this. Yeah, here's my tag. Oh, okay, cool. Well, here's mine. Add me. And I go, no,
I'm all set.
You asked me. I got no problem talking to you on this app. Like, you asked me. She goes, well, I'm the woman, so that would be nice if you followed me. And I go, well, if you want to continue to talk to me, it ain't going to happen because I ain't following you. I got the messages, and I'll show you after because it's fucking hilarious. Because I, like, this very attractive female, and, like, some guys you're kind of like, okay.
She said I'm a woman.
I'm a woman, so I should follow her, right? So I'm like, okay, so now we live in a day and age where everybody's equal, right? Men do everything, or women can do everything men can do, and men can do everything women can do. We're all equal. But now you're trying to go back to like 50s?
Yeah.
Where like I gotta court you
when
like,
it's convenient.
When it's convenient, right?
When it's convenient.
So
chivalry is dead.
Sure enough, she responds to that, goes, okay, I'll follow you. You don't have to be so violent. And I go,
did you? Violent.
Yeah. So then,
I mean, I know there's differing degrees of violence. She was offended and she was hurt.
She was offended and hurt. Still followed me anyway, but said I was being violent. And so we get in these messages, and she just kind of like, she kept circling back to this, and I ended up just breaking it down. I'm like, look, like, you don't know me, right? You've never met me, but you're saying I'm being violent through text messages, right? And you're that stimulus, right? Oh, I gotta follow. You wanted me to follow you. Now, who knows? You might be doing this app, and that's the sad thing. Now we got people on dating apps just trying to get followers.
Yeah. Weird.
Isn't that crazy?
They're on like these apps like Tinder so that they can fill up their Snap and their Instagram and shit. Yeah.
Of people they don't know or they don't want to talk to.
That's crazy.
That's mental illness.
Well, I think it is.
I think I'm not even joking.
You know, there are people out there. Look at this shit. I low key had a fly swatter the whole time. There are people out there that don't have any real life outside of social media. There are people out there that are recording every single element of their life, and people are going to hate me for saying this, but they don't have any real redeeming quality. There are people out there that go, I have a camera and I'm me, so watch me.
Yeah.
Why?
Right.
Well, what value do you add to my life? Why should I just watch your life?
Well, and it's crazy because when I was a kid, if you would have, like the generation we're in now with TikTok and YouTube, I never thought it would be like this.
People would have belt strap ass marks from getting spanked from acting out loud.
The fact, because the way you say that, right? People with don't hate on me, redeeming quality, right? Or they're not happy with their life. They find happy, and if you find happiness watching some big blogger or YouTuber, like, it's at the end of the line, did that really make you happy? Did that fulfill you? No, it didn't. So, like, that to me is mental illness. When people like even the Jake and the Logan Pauls, I'm like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, and you know the thing that's crazy about the Jake and the Logan Pauls, I don't hate on them. I hate on the people that feed
No,
them.
100%. I don't hate on them at all.
It's a statement of where we're at.
Here's the deal: survival of the fittest. You need money to survive. It's a necessity in our society.
Hustle.
Fuck, man. I respect the hustle. If you're gonna make money doing that, that's on the people that followed him.
Yeah.
And did that shit.
The people that are complaining about the Pauls are paying them.
Yeah.
You're stupid.
Yeah.
They're laughing all the way to the bank. They can throw money in the air and fucking wear big stupid sunglasses and have a great time.
Right.
Because you're dumb.
Because you're
you're a sucker.
You're paying it, right? And so like
he doesn't deserve that money. $95 pay-per-view.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And that's why I
ass.
said, like, even the Triller, that shit show, I'm glad that that my buddy Tyrone's fight's on Showtime, because I'll watch that.
Triller, dude, I'm not kidding you. I've been alive for 41 years.
I
don't think I've ever seen anything.
It was
so
the most
shitty
ridiculous
in my life.
thing. I couldn't believe it.
It was so bad that I couldn't stop watching it because I had to know where I was.
Well, and here's the thing, because we had our guy that works this gym with us here, Biggie, corner Ben Askren. And I was even, because I'm watching this, I'm like, how many fucking fights were there? I'm like, they only had like 4 fights, and then they had a concert. He goes, no, dude, they had 8 prelims before they even started the show. And I'm like, so you charged them all that money, let us watch 4 fights, and then did a concert that was bullshit. It sucked. I don't want to see little Shawty. You're my best friend. Da, 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 da. I don't want to see that shit.
I found out that Doge Cat, is that her name?
I don't know.
Doge Cat? I don't either. I never heard of her. But apparently she's a thing.
Bro, now, and here's the thing. We're getting a little off topic, but that's what we do. And
we're rolling
it's
with
fun.
the punches.
We're rolling with the punches.
Triller, dude.
I'm like, I'm looking at these artists. Like, I hate to be the guy. I don't even feel like I'm old enough to say it. I don't earn the right to say it. But back in my day, like, I'm already there. I'm already like back in my day. Like, I couldn't sleep the other night, and I saw that Eminem did a spot on one of Nas's songs. Mm-hmm. 2 of the GOATs. Like, both these guys are savages. And I'm listening to this song, and I'm just in 3.5 minutes. I'm just like, I'm fucking mind blown at the shit, the wordplay, the shit they're doing. And then you got like people like Lil Peep, and you got these little babies.
Well, and the people like M and Nas, they're appealing to people your age and my age. Yeah. The 30, 40, 50, right? People, or even older that have grown up and listened to hip hop or whatever. But people now, the kids, the overstimuli generation, they like junk shit.
Well, and this is kind of tricky.
It's trash music.
This is what I was thinking about. I smoked a little bit, and I was going down the
formulating.
I was thinking about when I was a kid, and I loved Power Rangers, and you fucking hated Power Rangers.
I hated them.
You fucking hated it, right? And when I was a kid,
now
when I was a kid, I thought that was the best shit. I thought the special effects, everything about it was fucking awesome.
And I was raining on your parade,
dude. Like 2010, Netflix put like the kids version on Netflix, and they had all the old Power Rangers.
Yeah.
And I got bombed, and I'm like, oh, dude, I'm gonna go back and watch this shit. I couldn't make it 5 minutes through a fucking episode.
Yeah, bro.
I was like, holy shit.
And doesn't it make you sad, kind of?
Well, yeah. But like, and I get that, like, the younger generation, like, they're not overthinking it like us cynical assholes when we get older. But I think of stuff like that, and like even Ronan, when Ronan liked, there was a rapper he liked that drove me nuts. I forget who it was, but I'm like, is he gonna get older and listen to that, and be like, what the fuck? What's that? You know what I'm saying? But there are certain things like, and when I like even that, I'm listening to this song and I'm like, this is fucking crazy poetry. Like this is, it's fucking on another level. And the fact that everything else, like the idiocracy, is so dumbed down. And I think of people like, not even Ronan's age. Ronan's still younger, but I'm thinking like there are people in their mid-20s that like this other garbage.
Yeah, and they don't know what like lyrical poetry sounds like. They like some synthesized, digitized
Right.
beat.
It's become club music.
It's just a beat.
Yeah. Yep.
And when you talk about things like an idiocracy, the dumbing down of a populace, which has been happening, it has been going on for a long time.
I think it's been progressing.
Oh, of course.
Faster.
It's like it's like a snowball effect.
Mm-hmm.
It's just getting bigger and bigger. But I feel like we're getting to a point now where art is starting to manifest. When you look at like the medium of, let's just say, camera, and acting.
Yeah.
You have reality TV. It's trash.
Mm-hmm.
There is no redeeming quality in most reality TV. When I watch something like Too Hot to Handle, it's like a guilty pleasure. It's instinctive. It's a tribal pleasure. But as soon as it's over, I don't remember that shit.
Yeah.
It's just something to kind of keep me preoccupied. And again, it has no real redeeming value outside of mild amusement.
Yeah.
So people spend a huge amount of time online watching reels, watching videos, watching TikToks, watching TV on Netflix, and binging. The rest of the time they spend working. And I feel like people start to realize after 6 to 7 years of this repetitive shitty cycle that they're wasting their life away. They're wasting their life away on this instinctive pull of the phone and the dopamine that's released in their brain when they get a notification. And the 40 to 50 hours of work that they work that they work every week, I can't even imagine that anymore. And I spent 15 years of my life running the gym or training full time and working in an office.
Mm-hmm.
And now I think of people that are going to retire at 60, put all that time into a cube. And the whole time they're doing these kind of basic things like watching TV every night. And how much of your life is chewed up before you retire? And then you have 5-10 years to enjoy a decrepit ass body
That's the thing,
fallen
right?
apart before you die. And make no mistake, there are people out there that are 65 that aren't decrepit yet. We plan on being them, and there are people out there that take care of their bodies. But why would I go 60 years and work that entire time so that I could have 15 to spend some marginal amount of money? But that's what people live for.
Yeah.
And I think social media now has made people so self-absorbed and so disillusioned with what is reality. Mental health is a huge epidemic. And it's easy. It's obviously explained.
Well, and there's kind of reminds me of that, kind of like, you remember that Black Mirror episode where they get credits for cycling?
Yes, I do.
You remember that one?
Yep.
It's got the Get Out guy. That was before he got big after Get Out.
I remember that.
Wasting your life away doing the same repetitive thing
Habits.
over and over.
Where does the time go?
For you to then get to a point where when your body's already ran out and your youth's gone,
You've wasted the best years of your life.
Wasted, and then do you really have the energy to want to go out and travel and do things?
And,
some people.
You've worked, a lot of these people work their whole life to not work anymore.
Yeah.
So what do they do? What is this guy Paul did that I worked with at McLeod? He's an old dude. He invested in MCI early, made a bunch of money, didn't need to work, was bored, came to work. After having a triple bypass surgery. And he was working at McLeod, and he was saying offensive things and having a good old time. And he was like the old dude. He was hilarious.
The jokester.
And Paul grabbed a manager's ass.
Jesus.
And that was the end of Paul. Paul got fired for that and went in, I don't know the details, but I know that Paul didn't go back to work after that. He decided to stay home. Like 6 months later, he died.
Yeah.
He died on Christmas. Yeah. His brain said, you're not working anymore. You're not moving anymore. You're sitting here in this fucking chair. You're done. And it's crazy to me, and it's sad to me to think about the amount of people and the amount of time people have spent chasing unfulfilling jobs and unfulfilling positions and never just going, you know what? I'm just going to do what the fuck I want to do.
Yeah.
I feel so privileged that we get to do.
Oh, man.
The longer we do it and the more we get to do it and we make enough money to get through life.
Just fucking survive.
I just think about that and I go, we really did that. We did it basically all by ourselves. We had people that helped us out. We've associated, but if there's any self-made people, it's us.
Yeah.
And so when I get to this point now where I know that you can take your mind and you can focus in a direction and you can create your own reality. And then I look around. I'm just like, it's so sad.
Yeah.
It's such a sad thing to see people like going to this 9 to 5, never going to a jiu-jitsu gym, never having a hobby, never having a tight circle, and just like existing.
Well, what's real dark about it is, I'll be honest, like if I got to a point living the life that I have now, and then that was taken away from me, and you try to put me in a cubicle, I'd rather blow my brains out.
I know, dude.
I would rather be
I've
to
thought
a
about
point
it.
where I'm like, I'd rather see just what's on the other side now.
Well,
You know,
I've thought about that, and the thinking about that lets you know how good you have it.
Oh,
you know?
yeah,
but
100%.
But how good we have it, damn it. We worked pretty fucking hard to get
hard.
that too.
Yeah.
And we're going to continue to work harder and grow more. But when I look around and I see people making excuses, I just basically turn them off.
Yeah.
If I see somebody that's like, I can't do this because of this, I'm just like, I can't identify with that. Like you're saying can't, like I'm going to have to listen to you say that more. Mm-hmm. I don't really talk like that. I either talk about the things I can do or I just don't talk. And I don't want to really fuck with people that, you know, and I know there's people out there that have to be brought up.
Yeah.
And that's what I use the gym for. If you come into the gym and you make that decision, the hardest one to get in here, then I'm going to try to influence you. I'm going to try to build you. I'm going to try to grow you. But I'm not going to chase everybody around on social media and go, oh, are you okay, hon?
Yeah.
Oh, blah, blah, blah. I'm unfollowing people.
Yeah.
And a lot of the people that are liking my stuff, and I appreciate all this, I don't follow them.
Yeah.
And it's not a personal thing. They would say it is.
Yeah.
But the truth is, I want to spend my time very specifically. I'm very intent and in touch with how important time is. Mm-hmm. I don't care that your kid went to kindergarten.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
if you're
yeah.
one of my really close friends, maybe I'll care just because I want to show you that I love you and I support you. But I can't support and love fucking 5,000 or 6,000 people. You know what I mean? And some people try.
Yeah.
I see some people going, oh, you're so inspiring to me, to one of my things. And then somebody tells me, oh yeah, they were telling one of your biggest haters how great they were. And I'm just like, you're not my friends.
Yeah.
Like,
You're just grabbing straws.
Yeah.
You're looking for some. Yeah.
hey,
Yep.
look at me. And that is sad too.
Yeah.
That you shouldn't be in a place in life where you're like just randomly going out and seeking attention from complete strangers.
Yeah.
That's miserable.
Yeah.
Change something. The beauty of this country, until we're all forced to get poked with needles and wear helmets, is that we can make opportunities essentially out of thin air. But what people don't know is the work.
Yeah.
We love training, so lucky for us. The work is just part of what we do.
Yeah.
But people don't want to go, so if I have this hobby, well, I don't care if it takes 15 years.
Yeah.
I'm doing it.
I'm doing it.
You're going to be successful.
Yep.
If you get to 15 years and you haven't done it, and you go, don't give a shit, got to go to 20. And you get to 20, and then you go, you know what? I don't care. If I die, I still love doing this shit.
Yep.
You will do that shit so good that you'll get paid for it.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. So when people come to me and go, I could never do anything like that. No, you choose not to.
Well, and it's the same thing. Even when I dropped out of high school, you know, lots happened since then. But I painted myself in a corner, so I had to get good. I had to get good at what
Back
I
up
wanted
against
to
the
do,
wall.
right? Back up against the wall. But now that I did, I can still make money. Mm-hmm. I can still make money because I've got a craft that a lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
You know, so
and they'll
like,
pay to learn.
Yeah. So like, that's the thing. I'm not saying don't go to school, but it's like, love what you do.
Well, you're a quintessential example. You dropped out of school, said, nope, going all in. Now you're in a place in your life where you're still youthful. Mm-hmm. You're arguably the best shape you've ever been in. Yeah. Peak physical, peak technical form. And because of what you love to do and the work that you've done, you can do this. Hey, my name's Erik Koch. I'm your best option.
Yep.
So here's how much you have to give me for me to spend time with you. Can you fucking imagine that?
Yeah.
Like, if you really think about it, you went from a high school dropout who probably everybody in your class wanted to talk shit about you and tell you what a loser you are.
Yeah.
And now you're living your best life. Like, arguably, and people say that's like a trendy term, I'm living my best life.
Yeah.
One of the best lives.
Yeah.
One of the truest and freest lives where you can go, what I love, makes me money.
Well, what's crazy, and this put in perspective, I even had to call Mom talk about it because it fucked with me a little bit. But I lost a friend, Alex Graft,
Yeah.
a couple days ago, and he had surgery. There were complications, blood clot, and he ended up seizing up, went in a coma, and passed.
How old was he? How old was Alex?
My age, 32.
It's crazy.
32, and healthy,
Strong.
strong, wrestled. Going through all that, using your youth and working a job you don't like for you to spend your last 20 years not doing anything, it's risky. It's a risk in itself just living that long. We never know how long we're going to last. Mm-hmm. One of the happiest things that I can take, and this even, everybody deals with anxiety, but when I deal with anxiety, I'm like, man, if I died tomorrow, I don't want to die, but if I died tomorrow, man, my life, even in 32 years.
Yeah, money.
Fuck, man. Yep. And then on the bigger scale, when we think of this is where we say blessed, when we, going back to what we talked about, kids in Afghanistan or young kids in Afghanistan, people in their 30s in Afghanistan getting blown, never having an opportunity and getting blown to smithereens.
Victims of the Holocaust.
Right. Just not that I was given everything. I was given a lot, but with hard work and doing that stuff, I'm very happy with what I've done. And if I've died,
yeah,
I made a mark.
I think about death every single day. And I used to get a lot of anxiety about that. And I used to go, fuck, this is such a burden.
It's going to happen sometime.
Right. And I also got anxiety about thinking about it too much. And then thinking that the anxiety was going to cause me sickness.
Yep.
Damn it,
it's
I'm
going
to lose. It's the negativity bias. Yeah. I know what it is. But now I'm like, no, you think about death every day because you know you're going to die.
Yeah.
And if you can remind yourself of that, every day I live, bro, is the fucking business. Yeah. As long as I'm in here and I'm hanging around with people that I love and respect, it's just awesome. Yeah. I could have 10 cents. Yeah. If I had a bag of rice and some beans, I'd be happier than a pig in shit.
Yep.
As long as I got to do what I want. And I know that because I've worked for people. And I know that because I've worked for people I really like and respect. And I worked for people actually that I really like and respect. And I like the work. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't this.
Yeah.
Yep. And when I was there, I was just like, I love this. Just not enough. Mm-hmm. I know what I need to do.
There's got to be something more.
And now I'm in a place where, personally, there is more.
Yeah.
Now there's more growth. Now I'm in a place where I never thought I was going to be and looking towards places I never expected I could back then.
Yeah.
But to your point, it's really sad when you think about somebody like Mr. Graft, Alex, who passed way too early. Mm-hmm. And he spent a disproportionate amount of his life in school, in work or the military, and never really got to go, I'm 18 or 19. What do I love, and what am I going to do with my life?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not very many people get the freedom to do that or make the choice to do that, and it's even sadder when a life is cut short because maybe in our 30s we do figure our shit.
Yeah.
And we go, you know what? This is what I want to do, and I'm going to commit my life to it. I have still plenty of time to become very, very successful. Mm-hmm. But it's like the education and the work machine chews up so much of your fucking life.
Yep.
For what? If you take, this is something that I stand by firm. You eradicate war for the last 20 years. You have trillions upon trillions of dollars available, or you just don't have any debt and you have a huge amount of financial prosperity. Mm-hmm. You kill the Department of Education because they fucking suck.
Yeah.
Because they haven't done shit. Because they haven't made test scores do better or make American children compete on an international level. So close the fucking thing down.
Yeah.
Save all that money. Take these kids and let them travel around the world.
Yeah.
Take these kids on chaperoned visits to friendly countries where they can see that there are people indeed living in fucking shacks.
Life is the best lesson.
Yeah. And
just living.
And you stimulate a travel economy and you stimulate an international global consciousness, and you do it efficiently by showing kids what perspective is.
Yeah.
What do? They stick them in little rooms full of other kids that they don't even know, with teachers that may or may not give a fuck, learning the state-sponsored education of what the history of the United States was. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
Like so many other things, it's bullshit. If you take all of that money, you could feed the poor. You could help Elon Musk fly a fucking rocket into space. You could take care of world hunger. You could teach children. You could literally unite the world with trillions of dollars. Or you could blow up a couple countries, fuck shit up, and wait for the recycle.
Yeah.
And going back to our original topic, Afghanistan. The only thing sadder than an individual who gets to live a fairly peaceful life and passes away early or late is a person who commits their life to a cause that's greater than themselves, and then they get dishonored by their own country and they get dishonored by their own politicians. And that's what's happening right now. That's what has been happening since World War II with all of these foreign aggressions that ended bad, they ended in blood, and they ended in no positive recourse. Here we are again. So what is the American people going to do? There's either going to be a great American spring, a great American uprising where people go, fuck this. This ain't happening anymore. We're changing the system. Or the entire empire is going to completely fall apart. Mm-hmm. We can't sustain this type of thing. And we can't dishonor the lives of people who went there. Mm-hmm. And when I went here for a just cause, I went here to defend liberty. I died, but it's okay because I helped these Afghani people and I helped defend the cause of liberty, and now it's for nothing. Yeah. Somebody needs to be held accountable for that. And the politicians, they won't. Yeah. The politicians that were alive 20 years ago that are retired, they're untouchable. Yep. They're an elite ruling class. When are we going to get to a point when we connect the dots and we go, you're war criminals. Yeah. We're going to put you on trial. Nobody is safe. The American empire is at the very top and they're untouchable. And the American empire rulers that are dropping bombs in Iraq based on bad intelligence for foreign oil, they're not going to be brought to justice. Yeah. But if we ever get to a point where they are, then you'll see real change. Yeah. Yep. And that's really, in my opinion, that's the only way. The politicians don't fear us. No. We fear the politicians. And when we storm the Capitol building, look at them cower. Yeah. Look at them cower, and then look at the same people, the same populace they victimized, defending them. Yeah. This is barbarism. They're barbarians. Yeah. Yep. They've been killing people for tens of years, and you're looking the other way, which makes you a bitch. Yeah. Yeah. Straight up. Yep. Well, good talking to you, brother. We'll catch up again. This is a good podcast. I think it's a good place to stop it. Rest in peace to Alex. The dude was really legit. Yeah, he was really good. He was too young. We're hearing more and more, like, as we age, about people that are gone too soon. And this be a reminder for our viewing audience to turn this shit off, turn their phone off, and just maybe hang out with their family for a day. Something. Yeah. You know, just put it down. Yeah. Just put that shit down and, like, go to the park with your kid. And when you come back, the sky will not fall. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You'll have more notifications. Turn that shit off. Yeah. Turn your notifications off. They will never be a fulfilling part of your life. Yeah. You know, and your kids, they leave pretty quick. Yeah. You know, I just lost one. Yeah. Not dead. Yeah. She's doing fine. She's in college. But shout out to Peyton. I'm going to be releasing her podcast pretty soon too, and we had a really good talk and a frank talk. Was it like 4 hours? It was 4 hours. I cut 30 minutes out of it just because I think there's some stuff that I don't know if Mom wants out or it would be good information to get out. But we had a really good, frank conversation. Well, Mom, speaking of no notifications, Mom don't have any notifications. Yeah. She lives old school, man. She does. She don't know and it's, you know, how can you not be more living in the moment? Yeah. When you just experience things as they're supposed to be experiencing. I think that's part of the problem. I mean, I don't want to go off on a tangent, but like, you used to have to interact. Yeah. You know, if you wanted to play a game, I couldn't just go on my phone and play Dead Trigger for 15 minutes while I'm taking a shit. Yeah. I have to go, do you guys want to play Risk for 6 hours? And you were like, oh, shit, dude, I don't know about Risk. That's an investment, man. And then you, like, start thinking about it, and you're like, last time I fucking dropped the bomb. Yeah. And then you do it, and it's awesome. Yeah, it's fun. People are doing those types of things less. And part of the beauty of those types of things, part of the beauty of these types of things, which is why I like doing podcasts, is it's the way it's supposed to happen. Yeah. People need to communicate and text messages or emails with a complete lack of inflection is not communication.
No.
It's text.
Yeah.
It's data that can be interpreted correctly, or it can be
interpreted so many ways.
The misinterpretation of voice inflection in text on social media has probably ruined millions of lives.
Well,
millions.
It's funny because I'm not even that old, but Johnny Lawrence from Cobra Kai comes in, right? Like me.
We need to get we need to get him on there.
God, that would be
That'd
so
be
fucking cool.
epic,
I'm getting him
dude.
tattooed on my leg.
If he came in, if we could get him in here on MindRaid, I'd fucking tattoo it.
I'd tattoo it.
I'd take it right to Matt or Josh.
But I think of it,
We'll
and it's
hashtag
kind
it.
of like the older days. But like even me, when I think about it, like being like a single dude, I have no problem. Like I talk very well in person. Like if I can go out and just like, you know, approach a female and talk to her, my likelihood of like actually going somewhere with that is way higher. When I deal with people on phone, I don't know if it's just something I'm doing. I don't know. But like shit like that, you're violent or you're yelling at me. And I'm like, so you're perceiving this in a way that you're triggering yourself. Yeah. Like I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying?
She's creating in her own mind this vision of your animal nature.
And it doesn't only go there. That goes with Facebook arguments, stuff like that. You might say some shit and then they might take that as, oh, you're being sarcastic. Well, is he being sarcastic? I think he's being sarcastic.
Think about how demasculated men have become. So the medium that we exist in is pretty alpha.
Yeah.
There's high level combatants. There's former military all over. There's cops all over the place. Like it's kind of an alpha culture in here.
Yeah.
So when you just talk normally, like a confident person, people are threatened by it. They're scared.
That's so
They're
bizarre.
scared. The people who would lead and potentially get up to the front in the front lines of combat, regular citizens are terrified to death because they're used to weak little boys, little men. They are. They're used to this culture that tiptoes around PC bullshit. And if you come with any kind of strong ideology or position and you go, no, this is the way it is, people are violent.
Yeah, he's violent.
Am I?
Yeah.
Well, can we put all the violent people on one island and get the fuck away from you pansies?
Let us prosper.
I never thought. I thought I was gonna like grow up and mature, and for the most part I have. But I really truly thought that I was gonna use the word pussy less.
Yeah.
When I got older, there's pussies all over the place. Everybody's a pussy. Women are pussies. Men are pussies.
Yep.
The people that would go, how dare you defame women by using the word pussy? You're a pussy.
I'll go further.
Yeah. You're the biggest pussies. You fuck life
I'll
up
match
for
your
everybody
pussy.
else. Let me say what I want. It's America. If you don't like it, there's a problem with you. Don't listen. Fuck off.
Hey, you can call me a dick. I won't be mad.
Yeah. There's nothing more
You know,
more American than go fuck yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like if you treat me nice, I'll treat you nice.
Yeah, yeah.
If you come in and you're like, hey, I'm concerned about COVID and I'd prefer to wear a mask in your class, is that okay? I'll go, yep.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's fine. If that's going to make you more comfortable, with no judgment. That's what I want for you. You're paying, you deserve that right.
Yeah.
Right? That ain't the way it goes the other way. The other way is, sir, could you please put a mask on? Yeah. You're murdering elderly people.
It's so true.
You're a pussy.
Oh,
you think you're so virtuous with your bleeding heart, you fucking pussy.
Yep.
Ugh.
Once
disgusting.
Again, man, bigger picture. If you're gonna go that route, you better fucking on all ends, right? If you're gonna talk about me wearing a mask and I'm killing other people, then if I start bringing up shit like in Afghanistan 20 years, you better know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because you are speaking to me like a humanitarian.
Think about going to Afghanistan, Iraq, and being told that you're fighting for freedom or believing that you're fighting for freedom, and then come back to this shit. You come back, first of all, you come back jaded because you're in a war zone, and then you come back to Karens walking around a supermarket buying whatever it takes to make their entire family morbidly obese.
Yeah.
You see excess everywhere where you saw starvation back there.
Yeah.
And you start going, something's a little off here.
Yeah.
This is the land of the free, but these people are like entitled, gluttonous pieces of shit. And those people over there are suffering, and they're suffering kind of because of our policy. Of course, people are going to be fucked up.
Yeah.
They got this great perspective, but what do we have over here?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we are such an entitled culture now. That's what people don't talk about. When you talk about like gun violence or how shitty things are, it's not shitty. It's better now for America and for human history than it's ever been. Nobody talks about that.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody talks about that because of actual vaccines that have cured things like polio.
Yep.
Life has gotten way better.
Yeah.
There's not as much violence as there was just 50 to 100 years ago, not by a fucking measure.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about it.
It's negative.
Because we have a window, we see it all. What we see is the worst shit. If it bleeds, it leads, they say in the media.
Yep.
So all we see is the worst shit unless we shut off our instincts, take control of it, unfollow everything, and only get the positive shit. I did that. Took me years.
Yeah.
And when I actually audited it, it didn't take me that long to unfollow people, but it took me that long to realize that I shouldn't be watching these people.
Yeah.
They would not be close enough for me to get this level of my time involvement ever.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's why you almost have to tier your relationships. You have to look at your relationships in your life and go and break them into 3 or 4 tiers based on who these people actually are. And the tier 1 people are really the only people you should probably worry about or think about. They're the ones that are going to fucking have your back.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are going to go, I'm going to say some shit to you that you're not going to like to hear, but it's better for you. It's better for us.
Well, and even using martial arts as an example, why are people you train with closer than anybody else?
Because you sweat,
Connection.
bleed,
Yeah, connection, right?
Literal
Like,
connection.
And that sounds cheesy. I blood, sweat, and right? It's connection. Why are military members so close to each other?
Sacrifice, suffering.
They suffer together.
Yep.
They're a unit. They see shit. They go through shit together.
They survive.
So, yeah, they survive. So in the craziest of scenarios of conditions, they're depending on somebody else, and they know that person has their back. Nowadays, friends, they're not friends.
They aren't.
They're acquaintances.
Yeah.
And
You're exactly right.
they've never gone through shit with these people, and then these people get surprised when they stab them in the back.
Yeah. I'm so shocked. Did you not do a character analysis?
Yeah,
This
yeah.
person's a piece of shit. They have a whole history of stabbing other people in the back.
Yeah, yep.
But they do, and that's part of the big sad. That's part of the big mental illness is people can't even identify people who are real friends. People thriving on that drama will think this person's. I've done it.
Yeah.
I've surrounded myself with yes men and allowed people to make me believe that they were my friend and they weren't. But this is happening on a mass scale, and the sad thing is now it's not even like we have a dysfunctional relationship and we're talking shit, but like we get along half the time, so it works and we find some meaning. Now it's just a bunch of online relationships that have no meaning whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's just like, I like your shit. Why do I like your shit?
Yeah.
Do I like your shit because I like your shit and I want to support it? Or do I like your shit just so you like my shit back?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a tag game.
Yeah.
And I think that subconsciously you know it, and then you play it, and then when you realize it subconsciously, it makes you sad because it is sad.
Yeah.
It's a waste of time. It's
Yeah.
an addiction that doesn't even get you high.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, brother.
All
We'll
right.
wrap it up. Hopefully everybody knows that we think Afghanistan's a mess. I personally believe that we should have stayed there. We shouldn't have pulled out. And if we did pull out, we should have known that known for a fact that forces were in place. And we should have got every American out of there in a reasonable amount of time
and
before.
it's a thing I didn't agree with it when it happened, but we did it. So I'm the same way. Like we've been saying that for years. We've even talked about it like fucking years ago. You can't just leave.
No.
You just can't leave. And
Shouldn't have stayed, but if we're gonna.
if you're gonna do it, man, you got to commit to.
We only shouldn't have stayed now.
Yeah, it's not a let's see what happens type of deal. This isn't a MacGruber. We're about to walk into a gunfight with people, and we'll see what happens.
We're gonna see what happens.
You don't go into something with that
So
much.
I don't
to
have
risk.
a plan.
Yeah, yeah. You don't go into something like that where lives are on the line and just roll the dice.
A whole region.
Yeah,
A whole way of life. No, you don't. If you're going to stay in there after, you're going to stay in there long enough. You're going to make absolutely sure. And at minimum, if you are going to cut your losses, you're going to get everybody out of there that's supposed to be out of there. And you're going to admit that you were wrong and people died because you're wrong. But they ain't going to do that.
Nope.
They're not going to, nobody's going to take accountability. They're going to go, it's a really sad situation. No trial.
Yep.
No
and
investigation.
the people that were gung-ho for this war will say that.
Yep.
Now they're not so, we need to get rid of them. Now they're like, well.
Yeah. The most.
Oh, now you're bringing that energy.
It's like the same type of thing we were talking about with Obama. Like when I was talking about, hey, I voted for this guy and he lied to me and he furthered the drone program. I didn't want him to do that. He said he wasn't going to do that.
Yeah.
People were like,
yep.
Crickets.
Yep.
They'll defend him to the teeth, but when there's actual facts or evidence, and this goes either way, this goes right or left, they're quiet.
Yep.
The people that we were bitching about 10, 15 years ago about all these conspiracy theories, which are now just actual historical fact, they're quiet.
Yep.
They're not. I don't have any of our haters from 10 years ago that were calling us quacks going, hey,
yeah,
you guys were right about basically most of all of this shit.
Yep.
But,
hey, didn't we say last year in March, COVID was going to change the way of life?
Yeah. Well, it didn't. I mean,
what's happening now? Because but we won't talk about it too long. But Canada, I got a Canadian friend who she won't get vaccinated, but they're trying to put your vaccination on your ID cards,
so you can't get into places.
So you can't get into places and do things.
Yeah.
Right. That ain't. Hey, this is done in 2 months. They're changing.
Yeah.
The way of life.
What
They're
that
infringing.
is, just so that people know, that's not a vaccination passport. That's a license to move around.
Yeah.
What that says, if you change the verbiage, is you're not free. You're not a liberated person. You go where they tell you if you do what they say.
Yes.
You can't go where you want. You're a slave.
Yep.
Period.
Yep.
And, hopefully people see that, but people are so dumbed down and disconnected from actual human civil liberties.
Well, and it's the fear thing. People don't want to look into the actual data. As long as it's pumped and they pump through and they think the governing body has their best interests, then they're like, well, it's necessary because we need to save lives.
Because you can always trust the government.
Right? Yeah. That's what we've been taught.
The same people crying about how corrupt the government are relying on them to fix all the problems.
Yep.
Hey, don't trust the government because they're not out for our best interest. Just take the drugs. Just take the vaccine.
Get the vaccine.
Yeah. Has it been tested? No. Is it stopping this? Not really. But just put it in so that when the Delta and the Beta and the Alpha and the Omega variant come, you can stick this other treatment.
Booster shot.
Not vaccination.
Yeah.
Treatment.
Yeah.
For this one flu shot. Let's call it what it is.
Yeah.
It's a flu shot. It's a rebranded flu shot. This is not going to stop you from getting coronavirus.
No.
In fact, it might be helping people get coronavirus. And we'll talk about this in the next time. Maybe the Delta episode.
Well, there's going to be some shit because it's already the third wave now.
Ain't going anywhere.
Third wave's coming.
Yeah.
Like I'm noticing it now. It's fucking inflating again.
With all of these reports coming out from people like the CDC saying that these vaccines don't actually work and that people that get them still get sick and still spread it. Even if they don't get sick, they spread it. All of a sudden now we need cards. You know why we need cards? Because you guys invested billions of dollars in shit that doesn't work. And now you're trying to impose that we give you your money back and make sure that you profit from this. Your shit's jank. None of it's tested. It doesn't have any 5 years. This is being forced on the people. And if the people allow a little push now, they'll get a little more push later.
Yep.
And eventually we'll be further down the slippery slope where the government is making individual health decisions for people that are supposedly free. Again, discrediting every person that's ever died for the cause of liberty ever, which should piss off veterans, and it should piss off families of veterans who gave their life to protect said rights.
Yep.
Boom. All right, brother.
All right,
Cool.
brother.
Thanks, man.
Hell yeah.
This podcast is made possible by Gail and Douglas Koch and the Family Hard Drive. Music courtesy of Mike Chino.